Dear students, grade A, let us start our session with History, Unit 3 from Chiefdoms to Empires. In this session, we are going to learn about the factor responsible for the rise of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, the greatness of Mauryan Empire, the main features of the administration and the nature of the society and economy during that period, Ashoka's policy of Dhamma, the causes for the decline of Mauryan Empire. Importance of 6th century BC. During the 6th century BC, many territorial states emerged. This led to the transformation of socio-economic and political life of the people in the Gangetic Plains. A new intellectual awakening began to develop in northern India. Mahavira and Gautama Buddha represented this new awakening. Role of iron in a changing society. Iron played a significant role in this transformation of society. The fertile soil of the Gangetic Valley and the use of iron plowshares improved agricultural productivity. In addition, iron facilitated graft production. Agrarian surplus and increase in graft products resulted in the emergence of trading and exchange centers. This in turn paved the way for the rise of towns and cities. Thus, knowledge in the use of iron gave Magadha an advantage over other Mahajanapadas. Thus, the Magadha could establish an empire of its own. Ganasanghas and kingdoms. There were two kinds of government in North India during the 6th century BC. Ganasanghas, non-monarchical states, kingdoms, monarchies. The term Gana means people of equal status. Sangha means assembly. The Ganasanghas covered a small geographical area ruled by an elite group. A kingdom means a territory ruled by a king or queen. In a kingdom, a family which rules for a long period becomes a dynasty. Janapadas and Mahajanapadas. Janapadas were the earliest gathering place of men. Later, Janapadas became republics or smaller kingdoms. The widespread use of iron in Gangetic Plain created conditions for the formation of larger territorial units, transforming the Janapadas into Mahajanapadas. 16 Mahajanapadas. 16 Mahajanapadas dotted the Indo-Gangetic Plain in the 6th century BC. It was a transition from a semi-nomadic kinship-based society to an agrarian society with networks of trade and exchange. Hence, an organized and a strong system of governance required a centralized state apparatus. 16 Mahajanapadas are Anga, Magadha, Vajji, Malla, Kasi, Kuru, Kosala, Avanti, Chedi, Vatsa, Panjala, Macha, Surasena, Asaka, Gandhara and Kamboja. There were 4 major Mahajanapadas. They were Magadha in Bihar, Avanti in Ujjain, Kosala in eastern Uttar Pradesh and Vatsa in Ahmedabad. Among the four Mahajanapadas, Magadha emerged as an empire. The causes for the rise of Magadha. Magadha was located on the lower part of the Gangetic plain. The plain was fertile, which ensured the rich agricultural yield. The thick forest supplied timber for construction of buildings and elephants for army. Abundance of natural resources, especially iron, enabled them to equip themselves with weapons made of iron. Growing trade and commerce facilitated movement of people as well as settlement of people in centers of arts and crafts. The outcome was urbanization and emergence of Magadha as an empire. Dynasties of ancient Magadha. Four dynasties ruled over Magadha Empire. They are the Haringa dynasty, the Shishunaga dynasty, the Nanda dynasty, and the Maurya dynasty. Haringa dynasty. Magadha's gradual rise to political supremacy began with Bimbisara of Haringa dynasty. Bimbisara extended the territory of Magadhan Empire by conquest and by matrimonial alliances with Lichavi, Mitra and Kosala. His son Ajatashatru, a contemporary of Buddha, convened the first Buddhist council at Rajagiriha. Udayan, the successor of Ajatashatru, laid the foundation of the new capital at Pataliputra. Shishunaga dynasty. Haringa dynasty was succeeded by the Shishunaga dynasty. Kalasoga, a king of Shishunaga dynasty, shifted the capital from Rajagiriha to Pataliputra. He convened the second Buddhist council at Vaishali. Nanda dynasty. Nandas were the first empire builders of India. The first Nanda ruler was Mahabhatma. Mahabhatma Nanda was succeeded by his 8 sons. They were known as Navanandas, which means 9 Nandas. Dhanananda, the last Nanda ruler, was overthrown by Chandragupta Maurya. Nalanda, UNESCO World Heritage Site. Nalanda was a large Buddhist monastery in ancient kingdom of Magadha. It became the most renowned seat of learning during the reign of Guptas. The word Nalanda is a Sanskrit word which means non-stopping of the gift of knowledge. Mauryan Empire sources. Archaeological sources like punch-marked coins, edicts of Ashoka, Sanji Stupa. Literature like Arthashastras and Indica. Mauryan Empire, India's first empire. Capital Pataliputra, present-day Patna, Bihar. Government monarchy. Historical era 322 BCE to 187 BCE. Important kings Chandragupta, Bindusara and Ashoka. Chandragupta Maurya. The Mauryan Empire was the first largest empire in India. Chandragupta Maurya established the empire in Magadha. Chandragupta performed Shalekhana, which means Jaina rituals in which a person fasts unto his death in Karnataka. Bindusara. Real name of Bindusara was Simhasena. He was the son of Chandragupta Maurya. Greeks called Bindusara as Amirtragada, which means slaver of enemies. During Bindusara reign, Mauryan Empire spread over large parts of India. He appointed his son Ashoka as the governor of Ujjain. After his death, Ashoka ascended the throne of Magadha. Ashoka was the most famous of the Mauryan kings. He was known as Devanampiya, which means beloved of the gods. Ashoka fought the Kalinga War in 261 BC. He won the war and captured Kalinga. The honor of war was described by the king himself in the Rock Edict 13. Lion capital of Ashoka. The emblem of the Indian Republic has been adapted from the lion capital of one of Ashoka's pillars located at Sarnath. The wheel from the circular base, the Ashoka Chakra, is a part of the national flag. Chandashoha to Dhammashoha. After the Battle of Kalinga, Ashoka became a Buddhist. He undertook the tours to different parts of the country, instructing people on policy of Dhamma. The meaning of Dhamma is explained in Ashoka's Pillar Edict 2. It contained the ideas of humanism, forming the essence of all religions. He laid stress on compassion, charity, purity, saintliness, self-control, truthfulness, obedience, and respect for parents and elders. Ashoka sent his son Mahinda and Sanghamitta to Sri Lanka to propagate Buddhism. The Dhamma Mahamattas were officials created by Ashoka. Their job was to spread Dhamma all over the empire. Ashoka held the third Buddhist council at his capital, Pataliputra. Edicts of Ashoka. An edict is an official order or proclamation issued by a person in authority or a king. The 33 edicts on the pillars as well as boulders and cave walls made by the Emperor Ashoka describe in detail Ashoka's belief in peace, justice, and his concern for the welfare of his people. The script of the inscriptions are found at Sanji, at Kandahar, and at northwestern part. The Rock Edict 2113 of Ashoka referred to the names of the three dynasties, namely Pandyas, Cholas, and Keralaputras, and the Satyaputras. Mauryan administration. Centralized administration. King. The king was the supreme and sovereign authority of the Mauryan Empire. Council of ministers, known as Mantri Parishad, assisted the king. Assembly of ministers included a Prohit, a Senapati, a Mahamantri, and the Yuvaraja. King had an excellent spy system. Revenue system. The land was the most important source of revenue for the state. Ashokan inscription at Lumbi mentions Bali and Baha as taxes collected from people. The land tax Baha collected was 1/6 of the total produce. Revenue from taxes on forest, mines, salt, and irrigation provided additional revenue to the government. Much of the state revenue was spent on paying the army, the officials of the royal government, on charities and on different public works such as irrigation project, road construction, etc. Judicial system. The king was the head of judiciary. He was the highest court of appeal. King appointed many judges subordinate to him. The punishments were harsh. Military administration. The king was the supreme commander of the army. A board of 30 members divided into 6 committees with 5 members on each monitored navy, armory, infantry, cavalry, the war chariots and the war elephants. Municipal administration, cities and towns. Board of 30 members divided into 6 committees. Each had 5 members to manage the administration of the city. Town administration was under Nahariga. He was assisted by Istaniha and Gopa. Currency. Money was not only used for trade, even the government paid its officers in cash. The punch-marked silver coins, panas, which carry the symbols of the peacock on the hill, and the crescent copper coins called mashakas. Trade and urbanization. Trade flourished particularly with Greece, Ceylon and Burma. The Arthashastras refers to the using specialized textiles, Kasi, Bengal, Assam and Madurai in Tamil Nadu. Main exports are spices, pearls, diamonds, cotton textiles, ivory works, corn silks. Main imports are horses, gold, glassware and linen. Mauryan art and architecture. Mauryan art can be divided into 2 types, that is indigenous art and royal art. Indigenous art are statues of Yakshas and Yakshis. Royal arts are palace and public buildings, monolithic pillars, rocket architecture and stupas. A stupa is a semi-spherical dome-like structure constructed on brick or stone. The Buddha's relics were placed in the center of the dome. Monolithic pillar, Sarnath. The crowning element in this pillar is Dharmachakra. Beginning of rocket architecture. Rocket caves of Barabar and Nagarjuna hills. There are several caves to the north of Bodh Gaya. 3 caves in Barabar hills have dedicative inscription of Ashoka and 3 in Nagarjuna hills have inscription of Dasaratha Maurya. Reasons for the decline of Mauryan Empire. Ashoka's successors were very weak. Continuous revolts in different parts of the empire. Invasions by the Bactrian Greeks weakened the empire. Last Mauryan ruler Brihadartha was killed by his commander Pushyamitra Sunga, who established Sunga dynasty. In this session, we learned about the factors responsible for the rise of Janapadas and Mahajanapadas, greatness of Mauryan Empire, main features of the administration and the nature of the society and economy during that period, Ashoka's policy of Dhamma, and the causes for the decline of Mauryan Empire. Thank you.